We need leaders who have courage to take on their own party. And I've proven that. And he was called an ass kisser by the former president.
Hey, that's not how you expect debates to go necessarily. Tim Ryan, who I disagree with on a whole bunch of stuff, hitting JD Vance where it hurts right there. But he's not exaggerating. He means it quite literally. Take a look at this.
Like just a few weeks ago in Youngstown, on the stage, Donald Trump said to JD Vance, all you do is kiss my ass to get my support. He said that. That's bad, because that means JD Vance is going to do whatever he wants. Mitch McConnell's given him $40 million. He's going to do what he wants. And Peter Thiel gave him $15 million. He's going to do what he wants. And here's the thing that's most troubling about this lack of courage is that after Trump took JD Vance's dignity from him on the stage in Youngstown, JD Vance got back up on stage and said, started shaking his hand, take a picture, saying, hey, aren't we having a great time here tonight? I don't know anybody I grew up with, I don't know anybody I went to high school with that would allow somebody to take their dignity like that and then get back up on stage. We need leaders who have courage to take on their own party.
Hey, aren't we having a great time? I'm not crying. The lights are just in my eyes. I'm having fun right now. Mock me more, Daddy Trump. Ida, that's a lot of fun. We're gonna turn to the substance that they got into in their debate, but I love these attacks by Tim Ryan because it wasn't just like demonstrating how like he had just let Trump mock him openly, but he tied it into campaign finance and a number of other things that I know that we care about. What did you think of Tim Ryan's tactics right there?
So I think that whether you agree with Tim Ryan or not's policy, at least you know he has a code. You know he has a bar. And I respect people like that more than the ones who are negotiable and bendable, because they will break for you. They will turn their, not break for you, but break, and you will suffer the consequences for them breaking. I think that, in terms of the level of decorum that exists in politics, all is lost. We have become the idiocracy. I know that we say that ad nauseum now, but we have become this society of people who feel that in the spirit of telling their truth, because truth is absolute and your truth may not necessarily line up with that. We feel now that we all have a microphone, we have a viral moment, we have no sense of respect for other people, and we talk to people in a way that we are appealing to the general public most of the time and not the person that we're actually talking to. Now, in this particular situation, I think it's important to point things like that out, because oh boy is a sucker, and that's what he's saying. He said, from where I'm from, we don't do that. You got a code. How dare you let somebody disrespect you like that on your own turf, make a whole birthday clown out of you, and then you go up there and lick his boots some more. Shame, shame, shame.
Yeah, and there's really nothing that JD Vance can say about that, because it isn't just that it's an effective attack, it's 100% true.
Yep.
And everybody understands every aspect of it. Like JD Vance knows that he literally would have no chance whatsoever if Trump didn't endorse him. That is, in a lot of these races, the only thing that matters. Now, look, Tim Ryan knows that criticizing JD Vance for getting completely unmanned by Donald Trump is not necessarily gonna hurt him at all amongst Trump voters, because that's what Trump voters want. They want people who bow down to Donald Trump in the same way that they wanna bow down. They are a people who feels more comfortable with their cheek pressed against the ground and a billionaire's boot on their neck. That's their most comfortable position. But it could hurt him amongst independents, and the mockery might get some Democrats to be a little bit more thrilled about it. But as I said, it's not just that JD Vance does have to kiss Donald Trump's ass, and everybody knows it. But as Tim Ryan pointed out, his candidacy is being backed to the tune of many millions of dollars by just a handful of billionaires, and JD Vance is just gonna do whatever they say. Like, he's not, like, we want politicians on the left that we feel like have led lives, that have exposed them to the real issues that are facing people. They have generated some knowledge, some wisdom as a result of that, actually working on these issues and then they take that perspective, that life experience to government, and they do something about it. But that ain't JD Vance. JD Vance wrote a book once, and now he's gonna give right-wing billionaires whatever they want if that means that he gets to like put on a suit and a tie and stand in a big building in DC. It is really as simple as that. And while there's, something that makes it a little bit less fun, which is that Tim Ryan, arguably is not the best on campaign finance himself. I would love more of these debates to be focused on pointing out people's donors, because people do need to know about that. And the media, of course, isn't going to do the work of pointing it out. So I guess the candidates have to.
I'm just sitting here in awe of where we are right now. And I'm just thinking about the poor American people, that this is what they have to look to for leadership. And more importantly, because you know that America is a corporation, whether we want to admit it or not. These are the people who are managing the funds that affect everyday lives. And so many people who are suffering and in need have to rely on these people to appropriate, and I would say misappropriate, the funds that have to do with their education, their children's education, their health care. And I mean, I tend to look at it from, a deeper level, because I'm just, this is what we have to pick from.
Yep.
This is what we have to pick from. And it's embarrassing and disheartening.
Yeah, 100%. Well, look, I'm not the biggest fan of Tim Ryan or whatever, but JD Vance is a disaster, and so yes, pulling for him. As of right now, by the way, to give you a little update on the polling, Tim Ryan is up technically, but it's as close as can be, and it has been. He had a little brief period where he's up by a bit more, but it is very much inside the margin of error. And like a lot of people, I'm very worried about the possibility that the polling could be underestimating like the right wing vote. And here it doesn't need to by much, like literally like 0.5% could be enough. And so I'm very worried about that. There's not a lot of Democratic support for this race. They seem to think that JD Vance has it locked down despite the very close polling. And so while JD Vance is getting tons of outside money, Tim Ryan isn't really. And like this thing is theoretically winnable, and I can't speak for everyone. I would really love to not have to see JD Vance's stupid face for the next 6 years. So I would love it if the Democratic Party would support Tim Ryan a little bit. He wasn't my choice. I wanted Morgan Harper, but now we have Tim Ryan and we don't want JD Vance.
And the problem is though, John, is that when you talk about the people who you are trying to appeal to, who have that cult mentality, see nothing wrong with kissing Donald Trump's ass. And that's dangerous, because those are the people that blindly follow serial killers and cult leaders and do the horrible things that they do, because they have this group think, and it's so dangerous, and it's becoming more popular in this country. Donald Trump did not assemble a political following. He assembled a cult following of people who are poor, desperate, uneducated, and hurt, and others who are just racist, xenophobic, homophobic, and anti-Semitic. And he assembled all of the worst of us and the things that people are struggling with, and got them all united in this place of this alleged pain that they're experiencing. And so they blindly follow. So even when you point out this man has no dignity, why would people who have no dignity feel offended by that?
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.